Raise money for your cause and reach your fundraising goals from the safety and comfort of your home. Introducing virtual fundraisers from Garden City, New York Media. Due to the social distancing policies, many nonprofit organizations have had to cancel, postpone, or rethink their conventions, fundraisers, and auctions. But through the power of video, modern technology, and a little creative thinking, we will produce a virtual fundraising show here in our studio and help your organization reach its fundraising goals.
Hey, I'm bringing this with you. I thought you hated DirecTV.
We do hate it, but the early termination fees would kill us. It's two separate contracts, DirecTV and AT&T Internet. It'd be up to $600 to get out.
You know what would solve this problem?
Here it comes.
Please
Don't say sandstorm.
Fine. A storm. Of sand.
Of course.
You think you're dealing with a one-trick pony?
Contracts and early termination fees are evil.
8 feet of sand.
Spectrum doesn't have them. DirecTV and AT&T bad, Spectrum good.
What Project C is all about is really being compassionate about the challenges that all our communities face. What did we see with the broadband revolution and transition? We saw communities left behind. And that came out loud and clear if you read articles during the pandemic about some kids who couldn't access learning, etc. That's why one of our priorities is focusing on ushering in the energy transition for all. We've got to really make sure we're that customer's advocate, we're that customer's voice, and no one's left behind on this transition.
Hi, I'm Hazel Dukes, and you are watching the 85th Annual New York State Convention.
You are now watching the 85th Annual NAACP New York State Conference Convention.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of our great president, Dr. Hazel N. Dukes, and all of the New York branch presidents, welcome to day one of the 85th Annual NAACP New York State Conference Convention. I am your host, Tracy Edwards.
And I am your host, Carl Thomas Granville. Tracy, I must say, you look absolutely stunning tonight.
Well, thank you very much. You clean up really good yourself. This year's 85th convention is being broadcast to you virtually from the safety and convenience of your own home.
That's right, Tracy. As we continue to navigate the COVID-19 pandemic, we will continue to practice social distancing and keep all of our members safe.
In keeping with last year's theme, We Are Done Dying, we recognize that our criminal justice system is still in need of reform. That's why this year's convention theme, Always Fighting Forward, sets the tone on how we can move forward. Each year, for 2 days, our New York State branch leaders, chairs, and members meet and discuss ways to improve our efforts for equality and equity through our presentations, workshops, and live Q&As.
As you watch this program on Zoom, we invite you to network with other members in your region, engage with leadership, and brainstorm on solutions on our community's most pressing issues. The 85th Annual NAACP New York State Conference Convention is brought to you by Spectrum, Macy's, Uber, National Grid, the Real Estate Board of New York, Pharma, JP Morgan Chase, Pfizer, Coca-Cola, Colgate, Entergy, Tishman Speyer, Verizon, Walmart, United Federation of Teachers, Johnson & Johnson, Garden City New York Media, AARP, Comcast, and UPS.
We would like to begin tonight with a song performance from three beautiful sisters. Here is Karen, Judith, and Dinah Campbell performing Lift Every Voice and Sing.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun, let us march on till victory is won.
God tells us that through prayer, He can speak to us and use us to work miracles for His glory. When you use prayer for healing, you are coming to God completely surrendered, and you let His Holy Spirit work in and through you. We can all use some prayer and spiritual healing tonight. Please welcome Reverend Dr. Agnes Blackman as she leads us with opening prayers.
Good evening, beloved. Let us pray. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who have brought us thus far on our way. And so, God, it is to you, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, that this prayer comes tonight. We come in prayer because we know that you're the only one that can get us through this epidemic. We know that you're the only one that can give us the energy, the courage, the wherefore and the where-how to keep this journey going for justice and equality. We know that you're the only one that can change the mind of those who think that they can change our minds, but they don't understand who we know and who we belong to. We come tonight understanding that there are some among you that you came a long distance and you're tired, but it's okay. The man that we know that walked in Galilee will give us energy, and it will be energy that you can't buy in a store. And so we thank our God for that. We come understanding that there are some that have a pain here, a pain there. Some have headaches, and some have stomach aches and back aches. And so early on in this prayer, God, I ask that you touch each one. And if it is a lot of you, I ask that God blows his wind of healing and allows each of you to feel it. I'm asking God for a Pentecost moment on a Friday night, not Pentecost Day. Now, God, as always, there are some that deny that you exist. But we know that you exist because you brought us a mighty long way According to statistics, our race shouldn't even be here. We should all be dead. But you said, no, these are my chosen ones, and so they shall live. God, there are some people here tonight. They came because they know that we are soldiers in your army, and your army is the most important army. They come knowing that we're going to get new information, new strategies, so that when we go back to our locations, we will have new energy so that we can make sure that those that are the least of those are taken care of. Make sure that those who are homeless or don't know how they're going to pay their rent, that their rent will get paid. Make sure that the ones that aren't sure whether or not they will have their job much longer will not only have their job, but they'll have some promotions. God, we ask that you take care of a special group, the little children. They are innocent, and so they don't even understand the world that they were brought into. But you know, you made each and every one of us for a particular time, for a particular thing that we have to do. And so, God, I ask that you just take care of them, that you let no harm come to them, and that all the angels that they had assigned to them when you were sending them to us, let them be around them constantly. God, this world is in a terrible place. There are so many that are saying the opposites, that people don't know what truth is. Let us be able to use the discernment that you gave to us, and you gave each of us discernment in different strengths. You gave each of us gifts in different strengths. You gave each of us the ability to be able to know what is true from what is a lie. And so let us open our eyes and specifically open our hearts, which is the center of our being, so that we could hear this way and not this way. Because here could fool you, but the heart knows the difference. Now, God, as we move to come and begin the work of the organization, I ask that you continue to bless Hazel. I hesitate to say give her more energy, because all of us have a hard time keeping up with her now. But allow her to have energy. Allow her to continue to have ideas. Allow her to find and create different ways for us to do this work that you have assigned us to. God, for those who are officers, I ask that you bless them. And I don't want to ignore our national office and Derek, our president, and all the ones that are responsible and always support New York State Conference. We lift their names up to you because they too need you. There are some that don't think they need you, but I know they do. And so I find it not robbery to pray for them anyway. Now, God, as we go into the workshop, let each person listen to the ones that are giving the information to us. Let them ask questions, but not make it a paragraph. A sentence will do. Let us begin to act as if we know this. Most of us have not just joined this organization. We have been soldiers for a very long time. Now, God, for your world, I ask that you allow it to come to fruition, that we, the ones that believed and tried to save it when you gave it to us, are waiting for you to give us the sign. Yes, we believe in the environment. Yes, we talk about good climate. Yes, we talk about a lot of things, less talk and more work. And so, God, I ask that you continue to bless each one within the sound of my voice, that you give them the courage to be bold. You give them the courage to do that which they know is right. Now, as always, God, it is you that allowed many of us to be in seminary and have to do a little bit of Hebrew. And so for each person within the sound of my voice, I give them that peace that passes all understanding. The peace is higher than the highest mountain, deeper than the deepest sea, wider than the widest ocean. That peace in Hebrew is shalom. And so I wish each and every one of you shalom in the name of the Father, shalom in the name of his Son, Jesus the Christ, and shalom in the name of the Holy Spirit. Amen, amen, amen.
Dr. Martin Luther King wrote, "A genuine leader is not a searcher for consensus, but a molder of consensus." President Hazel Dukes has dedicated her life to human rights and equality. She is an active and dynamic leader known for her selfless and devoted track record for improving the quality of life for all New Yorkers. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our New York State Conference President, Dr. Hazel N. Dukes, with her 2021 President's Message.
Welcome, delegates, alternates, observers, friends, supporters, and sponsors to the 85th NAACP New York State Conference Convention. As we gather virtually today and tomorrow, keep our theme in the forefront of your thinking, always fighting forward. I don't have to tell you of some of the challenging things that are happening in our country and in the world today. You hear it on the news every day. Our mission at the New York State Conference is to stay positive in the face of adversity and to continue to make progress in our towns, counties, and cities, in Albany through our representatives in Washington and through our determined activism. This pandemic has changed the ways in which we get together, but it has not slowed us down. It has, however, revealed many of the inequities experienced by people of color in healthcare, education, housing, and in the criminal justice system. To move forward, we demand equity in all these areas. We are fighting for equity every single day. Despite all these challenges, we have made great progress over the past year. We have been fighting for fiscal equity for decades. We have sued the city and state. We have marched. We have agitated. And this year, we have been successful in getting what is called foundation aid, unrestricted aid to school districts, fully funded, $1.3 billion per year for 3 years, and the education from funds from the stimulus money from Washington that we secured will be used to supplement, not supplant, New York State aid to school districts. This is a transformation change in education funding. It took far too long for it to happen, but we finally did it. And our Lifted Parent Leadership Academy continues to make parents and family involvement central to the education of our children in schools throughout the state, as well as to get parents more engaged in keeping their children healthy. We have been fighting for physical equity for decades. We have sued the city and state. We have marched, we have agitated, and this year we have succeeded in getting what is called foundation aid, unrestricted aid to school districts, fully funded, $1.3 billion per year for 3 years. And the education funds from the stimulus money from Washington that we secured will be used to supplement, not supplant, New York State aid to school districts. This is a transformational change in education funding. It took far too long for it to happen, but we finally did it. And our Lifted Parents Leadership Academy continues to make parents and family involvement central to the education of our children in schools throughout the state, as well as to get parents more engaged in keeping their children healthy. It helps that we have a state legislature that is no longer divided against itself and much more united in advancing the priorities of average people. In the current redistricting process, we're working for districts that will represent our people even more fairly, especially as New York lost one House seat in Congress. While we did a pretty good job in getting New Yorkers to complete their census form, it was heartbreaking to see that if we had found just a handful of more people to count, we would not have lost that seat. But as the new maps are drawn for the House, for the state legislature, and for local city councils, we will be vigilant to see that they are drawn fairly. One of our legislative priorities is to amend state laws to count prison in their home districts rather than in the upstate prisons where they are incarcerated, especially since they cannot vote while they're in prison. This change will alter the political map in New York considerably for the better. And we will continue to press for voting reforms so that it is the easiest method of voting during the pandemic become permanent. Tropical Storm Ida devastated our region on the heels of the remedies of Hurricane Henry. But most people who paid for their lives during the storms were poor people of color, living in basement apartments with no means of escape from the flash flooding. This is intolerable. Yes, we need more affordable housing, but it must always comply with safety standards, and these apartments did not. The city must step up inspections and make the necessary modifications to ensure that these places are safe. We got to defend our new rent laws right up to the Supreme Court, if necessary, just as we work to extend the eviction moratorium here in New York when the Supreme Court overturned the federal law. But we need larger public investment in affordable housing. We oppose proposals being floated to privatize NYCHA. The city, with the state and federal governments, need to take responsibilities for making our public housing developments decent and safe to live in. And we hope that new mayors and city councils throughout the state use this moment to create truly affordable housing, not just set aside small percentage of high-end real estate development for low-income people. We finally legalized marijuana in this state after decades of the law against it being applied almost entirely to youth of color, even though marijuana use is highest among white people. Many young lives were ruined when police made those marijuana arrests while stopping and frisking black and brown men. Those convictions need to be pardoned so that they can get fresh starts. And we worked hard to ensure that as marijuana become a legal business, that a fair percentage of that business have to go to people of color, including the former incarcerated. The pandemic has taught us that healthcare is not just about visits to doctors and stays in hospitals. It needs to expand our commitment to public health so that people will respond better to the needs, for instance, to get fully vaccinated, but also to willingly comply with vaccine mandates, mask mandates, or anything else that need to be done to get this plague behind us. We come into this period in our history with a new governor, Kathy Hochul, and a new lieutenant governor in the person of Harlem's own Brian Benjamin. We have a black Speaker of the Assembly, Carl Hastie, and a black Senate Majority Leader, Andrew Stewart Cousins. For the first time, a black man, Alvin Bragg, will be the district attorney in Manhattan. We urged him to follow example of the DA in Brooklyn, Eric Gonzalez, and to work to overturn all the wrongful convictions under their predecessors. We have seats at the table, and that, my brother and sisters, is a great achievement in which we all share, but it's not enough. We must use our places in the rooms where the decisions are made, not focus on keeping and holding power, but to use that access and power to change things for the better, even if it involves a political risk. We must never rest and act as if things will be taken care of because we have elected so many of our own to positions of power. Electing our own people is not the end of our work. It is just the beginning. Now is not the time to rest, but to step up our activism in the NAACP to demand that all of the things we have been advocating for so long come to pass. This is our moment, as long as we are always fighting forward. I hope the workshops and other sessions and presentations will inform and inspire you with the work you do in your community, and I hope you will share with me the successes and challenges that we can still help each other to move forward. Thank you.
For the past 85 years, the NAACP New York State Conference has been on the leading edge in making sure that civil rights, economic justice, education justice, and criminal justice is at the top of mind for New York State. It is through the leadership of Dr. Hazel N. Dukes, who has been not only a leader of the NAACP, but a leader of the entire state and a mentor of mine, a second mother to me, that we have worked together to make sure that as we implement criminal justice reform, making sure that we stop over-incarcerating in our state, as we look at education, making sure that we're holding schools accountable for educating our kids, as we look at healthcare and ensuring that when we deal with COVID-19, that communities of color are getting the resources and the vaccinations and the PPE that we need. The NAACP has been at the vanguard. And so as you have this year's theme for your convention, Always Fighting Forward, it's impossible for us to not do that with the NAACP at the helm. We must make sure that the government, that the community, and that the private sector are working together to solve the challenges of the future. And I am honored to be able to speak to you today because I know that the moral arc of this conversation will be centered through the NAACP. Let's continue to work together as we talk about the future of New York State, as we think about those who have suffered the most during COVID, who have suffered the most in this country. Let's make sure that our voices are raised in a way where those who are closest to the problems are closest to the solutions. Lastly, let me say on voting rights. You know, across this country, and even still in New York State, it is essential that we register everyone to vote. We make sure that our community's voices are heard, is because in that, our people will continue to thrive and will continue to prosper. And we will make sure that we leave COVID better than where we started before COVID. That is essential. We must have broadband access for our children. We have kids who have not been educated for the last 18 months. And now they need the digital economy to work for them. They need to have access to the internet. That is now an essential part of our world. All of the essential workers, many of them black and brown, many of them from our communities. It's the NAACP who stands up and fights for everyone in our community. Always fighting forward. The NAACP is essential to that. And as governor, lieutenant governor, I will make sure I work with Governor Kathy Hochul to ensure that our conversations, our communities are respected, and we cannot do that without you by our side. So I wish I could be with you in person. I wish we could do this in person. Hopefully next year we can do that. This year it's virtual, but just know that the NAACP gives me strength personally, and I am honored to be Lieutenant Governor, and I would not be Lieutenant Governor of the state of New York, the 78th Lieutenant Governor, the second African American in the history of New York State. That would not be possible if it was not for the contributions of the NAACP New York State Convention. Thank you, Mama Dukes. Thank you, NAACP, for everything you do for our people.
I'm Andrea Stewart Cousins, Majority Leader of the New York State Senate, and I'm so honored to commemorate the NAACP's 85th New York State Conference with you all virtually this year. I want to specifically thank and acknowledge my friend, your president, President Hazel Dukes, for her leadership at the NAACP and the advancement of civil rights and equality for all. The NAACP New York State Conference has a storied past in defense of civil rights. Your work is just as relevant, necessary, and vital today as it was more than 100 years ago when you were founded. Thank you for your continued service in ensuring a society in which everyone has equal rights without discrimination. This pandemic has been a long battle during which so many other important issues have been highlighted, including the need for criminal justice and police reform. We've faced a renewed conversation about wealth inequality, which we witnessed firsthand as our communities were more likely to lose their lives, jobs, their homes, and face harsher economic consequences for circumstances outside of their control. While we grappled with these seismic events, some lawmakers have again sought to turn our most trusted institutions into tools for discrimination. This past year saw a barrage of anti-voting legislation, with 48 states introducing nearly 400 new bills designed to limit voting rights. We know these tactics because we've seen them before. They are strategies used by some in power to silence Black and brown and working class voters who, through voting, have a previously denied seat at the table. We know if our voices weren't so critical and so capable of change, they wouldn't be trying so hard to silence them. This year's conference theme is always fighting forward. I think that perfectly encapsulates what we've done in the state of New York in the face of so many regressive policies nationwide. Our state continues to be a beacon for justice and democracy, setting standards for others to follow. And our ability to fight forward would be impossible without partners like the NAACP alongside us. As the Senate Democratic majority has always done, we passed sweeping voter protections that safeguard the rights endowed to every New York voter and paved the way for more just and accountable institutions. These reforms make voting easier, faster, and more accessible. The impacts of COVID-19 have struck our communities in every possible way, but we've pushed on. This year, we took needed steps to pass legislation to address racial disparities in our healthcare system. Not only did COVID target the health of our communities, but it disrupted their economies as well. That is why we invested an unprecedented $1 billion in small business recovery as part of this year's budget. The COVID-19 pandemic also took its toll on our children who, for more than a year, were forced to learn remotely, often without any of the resources they would normally receive in school. This far greatly impacted public schools and communities of color, which historically have gone without well before COVID-19. That's why, with my leadership and that of the speakers, the state of New York will finally fulfill its court-mandated commitment from 15 years ago to provide the remaining $1.4 billion to schools that were long denied foundation aid funding. This will be paid over 3 years, starting this year. We also made historic investments in universal pre-K and higher education because we know how critical an education is in setting our children on a solid path forward and a bright future. We made economic investments in our communities as well, including legalizing adult use marijuana. It was a must that we pass this legislation in a way that addresses the racial disparities that have plagued our state's response to marijuana use and distribution, and we weren't budging, including settling the goal of 50% of licenses to be issued to social equity applicants involved in the adult use program, with priorities given to applicants impacted by the war on drugs, who are low income, and who have or a close relative has a marijuana-related conviction. And 40% of revenue will be dedicated to the Community Grants Reinvestment Fund to reinvest in communities disproportionately affected by past federal and state drug policies. We've also not let up on reforming our criminal justice system to correct years of misconduct and ensure that our judicial process is proportional and fair. I'm proud to say that I stood with our new governor, Governor Hochul, recently as she signed the Less is More Act, a significant step in this effort. This and much more have all been part of our joint fight forward. At the end of the day, every hardship we've faced has been an opportunity to prove our resiliency. We've never shied away from a challenge, but instead have used it as a chance to bolster our community, strengthen our resources, and build for a better tomorrow. Again, we are strongest when we move forward together, and I am so proud to be able to do so shoulder to shoulder with the New York State NAACP. Love, strength, peace, and health to you all. Thank you.
I'm sorry we cannot be together in person, but I'm honored to join you for the 85th NAACP New York State Conference Virtual Convention. While we are no strangers to struggle, the past year and a half has brought new and unique challenges and magnified deep-rooted racial inequities. The COVID-19 pandemic and continued police brutality against people of color shined a light on racial disparities here in New York and throughout the country. As the first African-American Speaker of the New York State Assembly, I've always believed that if I did this job right, that detail would be a mere footnote in history. I've used my seat at the table to give communities of color a voice, help reshape our state's priorities, and to deliver meaningful and lasting change for communities of color across New York State. Since I became Speaker, one of my goals has been to help ensure sweeping reforms to our broken criminal justice system that for too long has disproportionately affected communities of color. Since 2015, we have raised the age of criminal responsibility, ended the use of cash bail for nonviolent offenses, and reformed our speedy trial provisions as well as the state's discovery laws. And with the passage of Less is More, we've ended reincarceration for technical parole violations. Last year, my colleagues and I in the Assembly majority took our grief over George Floyd's murder and the ensuing calls for systematic change by becoming the first state in the nation to pass sweeping police reforms. The COVID-19 pandemic had a devastating effect on so many aspects of our lives and disproportionately affected communities of color. We responded to this devastation by looking at ways to fix inequities in our healthcare system, helping small business as they rebuild and look towards recovery, and extending the eviction and foreclosure moratoriums so that New Yorkers can remain in their homes as they work to get back on their feet. New Yorkers and people across the country responded to these events by voting out a divisive and dangerous administration in Washington in favor of representatives who embody their values. Since last year's election, voting rights and access have been under attack throughout the country, many specifically targeting communities of color. However, in 2018, voters here in New York went to the polls, made their voices heard, and ensured that my colleagues and I in the Assembly majority could finally deliver critical election reforms to expand voting access for all New Yorkers and ensure free and fair elections in New York. While we have made great strides, we know our work is far from over. We can do better for our communities, and we will continue fighting to keep moving New York forward. I want to thank Hazel Dukes and the New York State NAACP for its continued work and decades of advocacy on issues that are important to us.
Thank you to the NAACP New York State Conference and to your incredible president, Hazel Dukes, for leading this fight for civil rights for decades. After the challenges of the past 2 years, the inequalities that exist in access to healthcare, education, housing, and the ballot box have been highlighted and magnified. Your message of always fighting forward is now more important than ever. As your senator, you can count on me as a partner in the work to address these profound challenges. Have a wonderful convention.
Hi to everyone online for the NAACP New York State Convention, and thanks for letting me share a brief message. As you know, I love the New York NAACP, and I want to say thank you. Thank you for your 85 incredible years of leadership, your advocacy, and especially all the work you have done in the last year to stand up for civil rights and a better life for New Yorkers. And I want to thank the incredible, great, and unstoppable leadership of the wonderful Hazel Dukes, who's been my friend and partner for decades in the fight for equality and justice in New York and in the country. I've been proud to be a friend and an ally of NAACP New York State Conference, and it's been a blessing to work with you to make our state and our country a better place for all people, especially communities of color. After a year of isolating and social distancing, the notion of coming together might almost seem foreign, but that's what makes this year's theme, Always Fighting Forward, all the more important. We have a lot of work to do in New York and across America to fix the systemic challenges of our time: education, affordable health care, job growth, criminal justice, and of course, voting rights. And all of these demand action, and we can get them done if we commit to always fighting forward together. As Senate Majority Leader, the first from New York, I promise to stand with all of you, to fight with you, to work with you to keep bending the arc of the moral universe, as Dr. King said, in the direction of justice. And I'm so proud of the fact that I have appointed so many people of color to the federal bench. And I was the first to appoint as U.S. attorneys 3 African Americans for the Southern District in Damian Williams, the Eastern District in Breon Peace, and the Western District in Trini Ross. These people, the highest federal prosecutors in the state, will be able to oversee the criminal justice system and ensure greater fairness and equality. And I know that one day we will achieve a country where all people have an equal opportunity to prosper and be respected. And until that day comes, I will stand by your side as we fight our way to that noble vision and fight the bigotry that we've seen too often in our society. So congratulations on the 85th anniversary and convention of the NAACP New York State. I look forward to working with each and every one of you to improve the lives of New Yorkers in the years to come.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to bring greetings on behalf of the National Board of Directors of the NAACP to the New York State Conference of Branches, your President, Hazel N. Dukes, and each of you as you convene your 85th Annual State Convention. This year, we face a myriad number of issues that are important for our advocacy agenda. We start with the main issue, education and the ability of our children to return to their schools in a safe and hospitable manner. We all know that we face the COVID-19 crisis. The New York State Conference has been a champion of attempting to ensure that all New Yorkers are vaccinated against this dread disease. But we must also protect our children. That means masking up when the shots are available for the children, ensuring that they get their shots. But it also means that you, as a state conference, must advocate for the health and safety of our children, their teachers, and the people who support education throughout their daily process. You also have to deal with the other myriad of issues facing our nation, whether it's the challenge to voting rights and our ability to make sure that our voices are heard, that we have access to the ballot, and that all of the people in our community understand their responsibility to go out and vote. We also have to look at the economic situation, the criminal justice situation, and recognize that the forces of racism and cynicism, of white supremacy that have plagued this nation for its 245-year history, remain the primary problem facing Black America today. Your challenge is to develop programs and policies within the state of New York that combat systemic racism. Your issues must include lifting up the voice of Black people in your community to ensure that their needs are met, that their communities are served, and that foremost, the people who are there to serve and protect actually serve and protect rather than becoming the weapons of oppression that have existed for so many years. I wish you luck in your state conference. I look forward to hearing great results from the work that you do and the work that will come from this work over the next year. Congratulations, and remember, we are fighting forward for justice. We are fighting forward for civil rights. We're fighting forward for the Black community. Congratulations.
Hi, I'm Derek Johnson, President and CEO of the NAACP. And I want to congratulate the New York State Conference on your 85th annual state convention. And to my angel, President Hazel Dukes, thank you for your longstanding commitment and your perseverance. It was only a few weeks ago that I seen you in Harlem bagging back to school items for young people to go back to school. The energy that you have, the commitment that you have displayed, and the opportunity that you have provided to so many New Yorkers, and in fact, so many people across the country, I just want to say thank you. And to all of the branches, the youth councils, the college chapters, the local officers, and members of the NAACP, it is because of you that we are 112 years old as you celebrate this 85th convention. As a legacy organization, we must continue to make democracy work for all as we fight forward.
Our convention will continue after these messages.
The toughest of times brought out the best in us. And thanks to the collaboration between our scientists, the government, and others, each day millions of COVID-19 vaccine shots are protecting us. But we still face challenges, which is why America's biopharmaceutical scientists are working to combat variants, find new treatments, and make as many vaccines as the world needs. So while you do your part, we'll continue to do ours. Pharma, our work continues.
When others feared what was to come, you saw a sliver of light, opportunity. And while some tried to go back, you're going all in. Rethinking, reinventing, smashing through new barriers and old fears. And we're right there with you, in the trenches, still grinding, still climbing, as you rally and rise. You are the one who can make this whole world turn. So be bold, be brave, be unstoppable.
Big deals don't happen every day, but when they do, they change everything. When the Real Estate Board of New York launched RLS syndication in August, one of the largest real estate markets in the world took a giant leap forward. Syndication is a game-changing service for the industry. It improves the visibility of listings by centralizing accurate and timely information through a single feed. Our network of websites includes the New York Times, Realtor.com, Homes.com, and the List Hub network, among many others, representing over 100 national and international destinations for brokers and consumers. Join syndication today. Be part of the deal.
When you want to save humans from disease, ask science. It will make the breakthrough, because science is relentless. It never gives up. It keeps asking questions until it finds what it's looking for. Science wants to cure people more than any disease wants to exist. Just ask the ones it's already beaten. But science is humble. It never rests because it has to reinvent itself every day, prove itself again and again. Until science makes the breakthrough, it isn't done. We believe science can cure every human disease, and we're going all in. Because in the end, science will win.
Each year, the NAACP New York State Conference distributes 3 prestigious awards: our Corporate Award, the President's Award, and the E.T. Reed Award. Please welcome back President Dr. Hazel Dukes as she presents our 2021 award recipients.
It is my great honor to present the conference annual awards, the President Award, the Corporate Award, and the E.T. Reed Award. This year, I'm proud to present our President Award to I. Denique Miller for his commitment and support for the conference education initiatives. Our Corporate Award goes to Macy's for their continuing commitment to meet their corporate responsibilities and efforts to support the conference game changers. The recipient of the 2021 E.T. Reed Award goes to L. Joy Williams, our legislative coordinator and president of the Brooklyn NAACP branch, for her steadfast work in coordinating our successful legislative agenda. It has been my distinct honor to give these awards. Congratulations to our recipients.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Bob Bradshaw. It's an honor to be here, at least virtually, with you this evening. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer for Veeco Instruments. Veeco is a technology company located on Long Island in New York. We're a company that most people have never heard of, but we're also a company that has made many important contributions to some of the technologies we all now take for granted. The cloud, for instance, that place where we store our photos, videos, and other information, would not be possible without our products that make the critical elements of hard disk drives. The modern light bulb is another piece of technology enabled by Veeco. We make the machines that make the LEDs that go into today's light bulbs, televisions, phones, and countless other devices. I like to think that we have, in some way, touched the lives of everyone on the planet. I'm very proud of our accomplishments, but back in 2020, we had an idea about how we could touch the lives of a smaller group of people. Our company depends on the creative skills of engineers and scientists to design our products. But when we looked at ourselves in the mirror, we didn't see the diversity we desired. We started then what we call our D&I journey, and as a key part of that journey, we chose to invest in the high school graduates who would represent tomorrow's diverse engineer and scientist talent pools. We are extremely fortunate to have worked with the NAACP to promote our scholarships. The students who applied all deserved to win. They were all terrific. But in the end, we selected 2 winners and 2 runners-up. Congratulations to all of our 2021 scholarship recipients. And now I would like to introduce our scholarship recipients, Russell Antwi and Lauren Hunt, and runners-up, Zenchi Ho Sang and Jaden Wedner. Thanks very much, and best wishes to everybody.
Hello, my name is Russell Antwi, and I'm a freshman currently at Howard University, majoring in biology. I would first like to say thank you to President Bradshaw, as well as Dr. Hazel Dukes for this opportunity. I would like to say how blessed I am to receive the NAACP New York State Veeco STEM Scholarship. Keeping with the theme of always fighting forward, I will look to join community-based organizations as well as the Howard chapter of the NAACP. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Lauren Hunt. I'm an activist, video game lover, and much more. My intended major is computer science in Cornell University's College of Engineering. Currently, I am thinking about minoring in game design, and I would love to study abroad in Japan. I'm honored to be among the first students to be a recipient of this 2021 NAACP VICO STEM Scholarship and to be featured in the 85th annual NAACP New York State Conference Convention. I'm immensely grateful for this support. Thank you, Robert Bradshaw, President of the VICO Company, and Dr. Hazel N. Dukes, President of the NAACP New York State Conference. Thank you to my guidance counselor who sent me the application, my family for their unconditional love and unwavering support, and everyone else involved in making this all possible. I'm #always fighting forward and excited to make a material difference in the world. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Zen Hossein, valedictorian of the Central Islip High School class of 2021, and current freshman at MIT, planning to major in aerospace engineering. I would like to thank the NAACP VICO Scholarship Committee for granting me the honor of receiving the scholarship, as well as my community back home for always pushing me to strive forward and aspire for better things. I think the most special thing about working at MIT so far has been the emphasis on collaboration. The difficult work is structured in a way which reinforces that learning to persevere by working with others is much more efficient than attempting to progress alone. It is the communities we build that allow us to keep the strength to continue fighting forward, and I am so grateful to have another strong community in the form of the NAACP that I know will support me as I continue to go forward. Thank you.
My name is Jane Wender, and I'm majoring in computing security at the Rochester Institute of Technology. I'd like to extend my gratitude for receiving the VICO STEM Scholarship Award from the NAACP. Currently, in my core classes, I am learning about programming in Python as well as general network architecture. Currently, I am in the BS/MS 5-year track, which means I hope to eventually graduate with my master's in 5 years' time. Also, my eventual goal is to become a cybersecurity engineer and hopefully work for a private company such as FireEye, a big cybersecurity company that helps protect organizations from malicious cybersecurity attacks. So I'd once again like to thank the NAACP for this award, and I hope to make you proud. Thank you very much.
I would like to now introduce the NAACP New York State Conference Membership Chair, Gloria Benfield, to present this year's membership laydown.
Good afternoon. My name is Gloria Benfield. I am the NAACP New York State Conference Membership Chairperson. Membership is the lifeblood of the association. I am pleased to announce that we have over 46 adult units that participated in our recent Memorial Bishop William H. Gray Senior Memorial Membership Campaign, which started March 12, 2021, and has just concluded September 21st, 2021. And of our 52 active adult branches, 46 adult units produced memberships during this campaign. We also have over 6 youth council units that also participated in the campaign. We have college chapters that participated, but online. We would like to acknowledge the fact that our goal has been to, during this campaign, to reach over 1,000 memberships. That was our goal. That took in all categories, whether they were life membership categories, annual adult memberships, youth council memberships, all types of life memberships. We exceeded that goal of 1,000. Now, in reference to our memorial campaign goal, it was to reach at least 100 memberships, life memberships. We exceeded that goal by 200. We raised the bar to 210. And at this point, I am pleased to announce that we have exceeded that goal. So we are continuing the march for memberships. Now, our goal also, according to our president, Dr. Dukes, she wanted to know the top membership producing unit. Because of the outstanding performance of all of our units, at this time, I am not able to announce the top membership unit. I want to be as fair and honest to everyone, and so therefore, I am taking the liberty of announcing the unit during the pandemic that really stepped up and turned in over 100 or more memberships in all categories was that of 2166 NYAC branch under the tutorage of Dr. Francis Pratt. As per Dr. Deuce's instructions, the top life membership unit for 2021, that goes to 2131 Isolate Town branch. They turned in 48 life memberships. Those, many of them were fully paid civil life memberships to $750, and others in all other categories. But this is the life membership total, only the life membership totals, so there will be no confusion. Isolate Town had the highest number of life memberships, and so therefore we congratulate them. In addition to that, we had over 36 adult units that turned in life memberships, and I must say with special mentions. Peekskill branch turned in many life memberships with the corporate life of $5,000. White Plains branch turned in corporate life memberships over 5,000. Spring Valley turned in over corporate life memberships over 5,000 with other life memberships. So kudos to them as well. And kudos to all of those units that thought it not robbery to turn in all types of memberships, but really making sure those life memberships were paid in full and recruiting so many. That is why this has been a team effort of all the units. So I applaud each and every one of you. Now, the next step is there are certain membership issues. September 23rd, 2021, we received reports from National that many of our units had not paid their dues, whereas they were entering their memberships in the membership portal system. It is imperative that each unit secretary and treasurer ensure that those payments are followed through in a timely manner. When that does not happen, what happens? Your members will not receive their cards in a timely manner. So we are stressing integrity, accountability. That's crucial in making sure our members have pride that we are following through correctly. And so therefore, I have asked our state treasurer to call a conference with all of these units treasurers and let them just vent and tell her exactly their issues and concerns so that we as a team can expedite and make sure all issues have been resolved. And in that way, we can work wonderfully with the national office to make sure our memberships are really paid and recorded properly in a timely manner. Okay. I have a plan of action besides that. Every month, the third or second Thursday of the month, the secretary, membership chair, and treasurer, I have asked that they be on that monthly call so that we can answer any questions that each unit may have. And if we do not know the answer, we know how to go to the right source to get the resolve. And so therefore, at this stage, I am employing everyone to ensure that we step up and turn in even another 1,000 memberships. Thank you for listening to the membership report and of our membership laydown. And remember, membership is the lifeblood of the association. And without memberships, we have no organization. And in addition to life memberships, We have, if you pay for a full life membership and the different categories I have already mentioned to you, different icons such as Lucille Black, Roy Wilkins, Thurgood Marshall, and so many others. You can have your separate card with one of those icons on the face of your card, ID card, and on the back it will have your particular information. And it also will have your unit number on it as well. So the only persons that will be able to get that special card are those fully paid life members. And remember, it is a pleasure working with memberships. And again, let's build up our state conference in memberships. And I look forward to each and every one of you becoming a member. You can become an active member or a dues paying member, but we need each and every one of you. And now, please enjoy the 85th New York State Conference Convention, and I appreciate you listening to the membership report. Now enjoy the rest of the program.
Ladies and gentlemen, that completes day one of our 85th annual NAACP New York State Conference Convention. We hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Please join us tomorrow morning as we continue our convention with our Game Changer workshops, a special word from our new governor, Kathy Hochul, and some fantastic musical performances from the Campbell sisters. You don't want to miss it.
We will see you all tomorrow.
People today, they could spend half their lives over 50. That's a lot of living. So it helps to have a wise friend and fierce defender in your corner. A friend like AARP. So your health lives longer.
This is just slow-mo karate? Just slow-mo karate.
Your money lives longer.
Hey, I just bought that. I just sold that.
And your happiness lives longer. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP. Join today.
For those living together and those living apart. For classmates, graduates, and teachers making the best of it. For the restaurants delivering to our doorsteps. For the frontline workers putting it on the line every single day. For this great nation determined to be stronger on the other side. Thanks to all of you, we'll be together again.
For nearly 100 years,
Entergy has powered our stories.
Stories of hope,
triumph,
resilience.
1.3 million customers.
More than 5,000 Louisiana employees.
Each one a story.
From rebuilding marshlands
to opening new doors for students.
Entergy ensures that all of our stories shine brighter.
Because together,
we power life.
Raise money for your cause and reach your fundraising goals from the safety and comfort of your home. Introducing virtual fundraisers from Garden City, New York Media. Due to the social distancing policies, many nonprofit organizations have had to cancel, postpone, or rethink their conventions, fundraisers, and auctions. But through the power of video, modern technology, and a little creative thinking, we will produce a virtual fundraising show here in our studio and help your organization reach its fundraising goals.
Johnson & Johnson is a baby company, but we're also a company that controls HIV, fights cancer, repairs shattered bones, relieves depression, restores heart rhythms, helps you back from strokes, and keeps you healthy your whole life. From the day you're born, we never stop taking care of you.
For hours a day, so baby, don't know you at all. I'm not crazy or a fiend. stalker and I've seen you. How you know what I see? Let's go. Oh, okay. Got a feeling, 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 got a feeling.
Monitor, check, and lock down your money with security from Chase. Control feels good. Chase, make more of what's yours.
We did it again. Verizon has been named America's most reliable network by Root Metrics. And our customers rated us #1 for network quality in America, according to J.D. Power. #1 in reliability 16 times in a row. Most awarded for network quality 27 times in a row. Proving once again that nobody builds networks like Verizon. That's why we're building 5G right. That's why there's only one best network.
We believe everyone deserves to live better. And just being sustainable isn't enough. Our future depends on regeneration. That's why we're working to not only protect our planet, but restore, renew, and replenish it, so we can all live better tomorrow.
Having a voice makes us strong. It makes our public schools even stronger.
We're the United Federation of Teachers, the UFT.
When it's time to speak up for our students, you'll hear us loud and clear.
Teachers, parents, and the community working together.
To have more say in what our kids learn.
And how public schools are run.
We believe every child in every neighborhood deserves to be heard.
And make a mighty noise.
The United Federation of Teachers, public school proud.